Chat nigga, chat nigga. Chat nigga, chat nigga. Wanna listen to this Fuentes joint? A lot of shit going on this week, man. Mom Donnie won, yo. Mom Donnie won. I'm not mad about that. I'm happy. I like to see the shakeup. I like when the Jews aren't happy. I mean, he said he was going to arrest Netanyahu, and you know they wasn't feeling that. But finna listen to the bull. Finna listen to the bull. To the bull. Gonna listen to the bull. Smoke some weed, play some chess. Yeah. Let me fix my damn, you know what I'm saying? Let me fix my damn, you know what I'm saying? You heard me? You heard me, nigga? Let me fix my motherfucking, you know what I'm saying, nigga? Fix my fucking, you know what I'm saying? Alright.
Nicholas J. Fuentes, we have a great show for you tonight. Very excited to be back here with you tonight on Tuesday. We have a lot to talk about tonight, lots to get into. Big show. Our featured story, we're talking all about the New York City mayoral race. Not good, but it's less good for some people. It's less good for some than it is for others. Yes, New York City has elected a Muslim socialist, for real this time, as their mayor. And honestly, I have mixed feelings about it. We'll talk about the result, but he won.
And yo, for the real niggas, that's a good thing, bro. A Democrat just won mayor of New York City. And like Nick ain't saying fuck this nigga, fuck New York. He's not saying bitch ass Muslim. Like he's saying he got mixed feelings. That is good. That's in the direction of good. I mean, who knows what like he really gonna say? But like mixed feelings with this happen. Like Democrat getting elected, Nick Fuentes speaks. The majority is gonna think he's gonna bash him. But the real niggas are gonna know. The real niggas, the Wang Hass, the Groipas. The Groipas, the Groipas, you know what I'm saying? UFA, United Free Agents, we feel you, nigga. All right? All right? Yo, that Drewski meme? All right, let me chill.
Victory over Andrew Cuomo. It seems that his vote get will be
I know y'all see
than both
my
the
elo
former
too
governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo, and the Republican Curtis Lee will put together. Even if they teamed up, maybe they wouldn't have defeated him. This is the way the country is going.
That's crazy.
And of course,
first off, why would they have two Republicans go for it if they got this socialist that they're going against? Like, that's just dumb. That's just dumb. Republicans are idiots.
This was a very watched election, given how progressive Mamdani is, and there was so much hand-wringing and paranoia and alarm about this. And I think we all know the real reason why that is. It's very clear. It's not just that Zohran Mamdani is a radical progressive. It's not just that he's a Muslim.
Yo, I had some fucking... Oh my god, I had some fucking... What's the name the other day? Yesterday I had some fucking jerk chicken Alfredo, or jerk salmon and shrimp Alfredo. Man, my stomach has been on angle since, gang. I can't lie to y'all. I can't lie to y'all. I can't lie to y'all. I can't lie to y'all.
Democratic Socialist. We all know that at the bottom of it all, like with everything else, the real reason there was so much acrimony about his ascendancy is because he said he would arrest Benjamin Netanyahu if he ever set foot in New York City. We all know that's the real reason. And that was apparent even in his New York City mayoral debate when, and this was perhaps the most striking moment of the campaign, he was the only... What was that noise? Is that my phone?
Oof, yo, a young nigga's stomach is going crazy right now. Holy shit.
What was that?
Oof, I might gotta end this shit and take a fat shit.
Did I imagine that?
So it's probably my stomach,
Nick.
Nick.
You hear that too?
That shit was probably my damn stomach beating my ass, bro.
Am I going crazy? I thought I just heard something. I don't know if that was in my imagination. Anyway. Or if there's something under the desk. I know something fell. I don't know what that is. Anyway. Where were we? Mamdani. Right. At the bottom of it, the real reason is, of course, this is where I was. It was the moment during the mayoral debate when everybody was asked, what country are you going to go to? Where are you going to visit when you're elected outside of the United States? And everybody went by one, and they said Jamaica. They said, I think one said Puerto Rico, and the rest of them said Israel. I mean, literally, it was that bad. They all said, we're going to Israel if we're elected. And strangely, the progressive Muslim socialist, anti-white, defund the police, radical, he got up and said, I'm not going to leave New York. I'm going to stay right here. It was basically like America first. And I think that has a lot to do with why this was such a difficult race and a difficult situation for a lot of people to accept. So we'll get into all that. We're going to talk about it. People in the live chat are saying it's a pager. Everybody's a little on edge these days. You never know. So we'll talk all about the result. We'll talk about
I didn't see that.
Mamdani and everything like that. We'll talk about Bill Ackman, his effort apparently to bribe Sliwa at the last moment. We're also going to talk tonight about the continued fallout from my interview with Tucker Carlson last week. And tonight we're actually going to get a little bit deeper into the subject. And I want to focus on
it's all good, chat. Watch this.
Of the form, the shape that the blowback is now.
If my stomach wasn't on angles, dog, that wouldn't have never happened. I wouldn't have lost
Let's
that
talk
bishop,
about
bro.
something important. Last week, Tucker Carlson interviewed me, and there's been so much backlash and drama about this. Everybody's losing their minds. And they're talking in these terms. They're using this vocabulary. They say, he's a Nazi, he's an anti-Semite, he's a bigot. And some people are talking about it on another level. They're saying, oh, it's not about that. It's about Israel. And so underneath that basic layer about the usual stuff, the usual language they use, the name calling, underneath that conversation, people are saying, at the end of the day, this is about, and I said this last week,
you got
this is about
a bishop
the
and a knight,
regional
bro. I'm
conflict
sick
in the
about
Middle
that.
East, crumbling U.S. support for Israel, and the consequences for Israel when that comes to fruition in U.S. politics. You have other people saying, this is all a big distraction. Republicans need to focus on the election and fighting the Democrats, and they're sort of recusing themselves from a debate about Israel. They're recusing themselves from the Israel first, America first debate. They're saying we want Israel first Zionists and America first Republicans to all be on the same page to fight the left. That's another level. But I want to go a layer deeper. And so there's been so much backlash about the interview, and the backlash has been directed
Nigga, I just
against
won.
Tucker
He
Carlson.
sucks.
It's been directed at me. But tonight I want to specifically talk about how it's impacting J.D. Vance and the Heritage Foundation.
Nigga, I just won right here.
Because this is what they're really worried about. We can talk about Israel. We can talk about the Jews.
Unless he bring that rook down.
Political talk shows.
Oof.
You can watch them. You can like the clips. But the question, as always, is
Dang, I
how
won
do
a
we
second
actually
ago. Never mind
change
now.
anything? How is society actually going to reform itself? Some people say, what are we even going to do about this? Okay, clearly this has revealed the extent to which the Republican Party, and by extension America, is controlled by Israel. That's why there is this defamation, character assassination. That's
Damn.
why this freak out. These speeches we
He
saw
just
from the
started frying
Republican
me,
Jewish
dog.
Coalition
Damn.
this weekend. People say, what do we even do about this? Is there anything we can do about this? And I have said for years, my answer to that question is, I need everybody that watches this show, everybody that believes what I believe, that agrees with what I say, I need you to get involved in politics.
Yeah, I'm
And by
cooked,
that,
dude.
I
This
don't
is
mean
crazy.
vote. I mean, you have to join up with your college Republicans. You have to join up with your young Republicans, your Turning Point. You have to volunteer on campaigns. And when the person you're working for wins their election, you need to work in their congressional office. You need to work in this administration. You need to get an internship. You need to work at a think tank. And if you're serious...
This nigga talking to one person out of a billion. How the fuck is any normal motherfucker supposed to do that? Nicholas, you're on Rumble, my guy. You're on Rumble, nigga. You are not giving a TED Talk.
To doing this and build a resume and build a career, you can be very useful for our cause. And it won't take as much time as you think. In not a very long time, the institutions will soon reflect our politics if everybody is doing this. If millions of people are seeing these clips and a small fraction are doing this, and we are the most energized and the most enthusiastic, literally, if we show up, it's ours. And they know that. The pro-Israel lobby knows that. And what's very interesting now is how the hammer is coming down on the Heritage Foundation.
Yeah, I'm cooked. I'm fucked.
So Tucker Carlson interviewed me. They want
really
Tucker
fucked.
Carlson canceled. The Heritage Foundation, the premier think tank in the conservative movement, defended Tucker. And they said, we will not cancel him. And they really didn't like that. Israel lobby, more than they hated what Tucker was doing, they really hated what Heritage Foundation said.
Fuck.
And
Whatever.
here's why.
That one bishop
Because
I lost
Heritage
earlier. I didn't even
Foundation
want to
is
look at
an
that game again.
institution. It's not a personality. It's an institution. Anybody can watch Tucker's show. And most people that watch Tucker's show have regular jobs. But if an institution says, Tucker Carlson fans welcome, then that means that that institution becomes a safe harbor and a springboard for people that are sympathetic to me and Tucker. At this point, what's the difference? It's a distinction without a difference. People that are sympathetic to us will go and they will work there as interns, as employees, as communications people, whatever. And they'll get a resume, they'll get a job, and then they'll go and work in other places. They'll work in the Trump administration. They'll work in Congress. They'll work in policy positions. And all of a sudden, you have people that agree with Tucker and agree with me, or agree with Tucker's decision to talk to me, working in the corridors of power. And who knows, in 10 or 20 years, maybe at the highest levels. And that's what they really don't like. So because the Heritage Foundation president was sympathetic to Tucker after the interview, now they're really putting the screws in him and this organization. And the news on this front is that it is the National Coalition for Combating
I could play defense here.
I think I have the acronym right.
I could play
have to read it
defense.
'cause it's so convoluted. The National Coalition for Combating Anti-Semitism, which partners with Heritage, has released a list of demands.
I could play defense, but I'm going hard. I'm
Heritage
going for broke.
Think tank does not comply with their demands, that they're going to roll up the organization. They're going to revoke their partnership with Heritage.
Give me that, nigga!
And this is going to greenlight Heritage. The whole thing might come crumbling down. The whole
Nigga
institution
tripping, yo. He don't know how to play this
collapse.
game for real.
The people that work there might be blacklisted. Their partnerships and
I don't know how to play this
coordination
game
with
for real,
Congress and
bro.
the Republican Party might be in jeopardy. Heritage
You're not
as
really
an
sure how to play this
institution
game
might
in
be
all reality, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you.
They might lose their verification, their legitimacy, their credential, their accreditation, let's say, in the conservative movement. And the demands are as follows. They want to root out anybody that is considered a groyper working in the organization. Anybody that's sympathetic, anybody that is considered Israel critical or anti-Semitic or whatever. They want to appoint a Generation Z ambassador for Heritage, an analog to
I gotta
me,
go this way.
but who is
Fuck.
pro-Israel, that's going to do outreach to the Zoom.
Fuck!
They want to hold a weekly Shabbat dinner. A weekly Shabbat dinner at Heritage designed to be a filter to see who shows up, who doesn't show up, to filter out anyone that isn't on board.
Dude, I'm getting
with
my
Israel.
ass
It's
handed to me right now.
battle.
Holy fuck.
At the same time that this came out,
Wow, that happened quick.
Ross Douthat at the New York Times published an editorial, an
Damn.
opinion piece, and he said, the battle to censor Nick Fuentes is over. He said, but the real next step in the fight is to fire anybody that likes his show working in conservative politics. This is advanced. This is the next stage. Congratulations, guys. We have penetrated the outer wall. The outer wall has crumbled. As the Atlantic said, the firewall has crumbled. We have broken through the
That's crazy.
Groyper legionaries have stormed the first wall. And now the pro-Israel side, the conservatives, have retreated behind the next
There's
layer,
like no shot at winning here, I
wall
don't think.
in their concentric circles, in their tiered city.
Gotta do this.
We did it. We won the argument. We beat censorship. We beat cancel culture. Our ideas are mainstream. We won the debate. We won the hearts and minds of millions of young men, and they're everywhere. 30 to 40% of the White House are Groypers. You lost. Will Chamberlain, Shapiro, Mark Levin, you lost. You lost the conversation. We won. And now we're taking it to the next level. We graduated. Congratulations, everybody. We won. And we have now graduated to phase 2. Phase 1.
He's got to move his queen there. He wins. Come on, hurry up.
Human battering ram and blow the door open with the flash.
Queen C3, bro. Queen C3. Just end it.
So that everybody else can come in. I had to break the taboo. I had to break the cancel culture, the censorship. I had to break the spell that you could still be popular being called an anti-Semite, a bigot, a Nazi. And I had to do what I had to do to achieve that. We had to make the arguments, persuade everybody. We did that. We accomplished that. Now what? I'll tell you now what. What happens next? Now that we're inside the building, now we got to lock this shit down. Okay? We're in. Groypers have broken through the front lines. We've exploited the gaps. We've infiltrated. We've penetrated. What do we do now? I'll tell you what we do. Get those positions. We are now jockeying for the most important positions everywhere where it counts. That's the name of the game. People say where, what, everywhere where it counts. So those positions at UCLA, those limited numbers of seats, their student body, that's where it counts. Harvard, Yale, Princeton, George Mason, George Washington, UVA universities, Georgetown, that's where it counts. College Republicans, young Republicans, Turning Point USA, that's where it counts.
I'm so ass for losing.
Get into these institutions, get leadership positions. Where else? Political campaigns, state and local campaigns, national campaigns, statewide campaigns. You want to be on the winning team. When they win the election, you get in office. You're either on the campaign side, the political side, or you're in the congressional side. You're on the team. But we need to get in Congress. We need to get in, let's say, law school, the Federalist Society. We need to get in the courts. These are the positions we're fighting for. And in order to do that, you need to hide your power level. Don't be a streamer. We've got enough of those. I got it covered. I'm the best in the world at what I do. We don't need another streamer. Don't be online telling everybody your edgiest take. We did edgelording. It's not even that funny anymore because comedy was legalized. It's not even that funny anymore. Save your firepower. Don't go telling everybody how based you are in group chats, on Twitter. Don't go wearing the merch around. Your job is to be a spy. This is the Groyper Intelligence Agency.
Facts.
This is the GIA.
Wang half UFA.
Yeah,
right?
You're a double agent.
All right.
You're a super spy.
Not
you can't
facts.
tell anybody your power level. Nobody, not even your girlfriend, especially not your girlfriend, not your mother, not your parents. You
Real
can't
shit,
tell
twin.
anybody.
Real shit, twin.
And I would be guarded even around those that say they're groypers, because there might be double agents, triple agents. But that's the next step. And you want to know why that's the next step? Because that is where they're fortifying the position. They're admitting, we lost the battle. Everyone likes Nick Fuentes. Everyone's anti-Semitic. What do we do now? They said, we got to make sure we fire them and we prevent them from taking over the institutions. That's why we have to subvert them. We have to get in there. And you can do it in the private sector too. The public sector, the private sector, academia. People say, what should I do? Where should I do it? Think about the institutions that Jews control. If they control it, that's where you want to go. Finance, academia,
Shit, what can I do here?
government, media,
Oh,
arguably maybe Hollywood, banking. That's where you want to be. In the power cities, LA, New York, Austin, DC. These are the places we want to be. Okay. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself, but we're going to talk all about that. We're going to get into that conversation. I am getting a little bit ahead of myself, but we're going to talk all about that tonight, too. The Groyper War continues. The Groyper War rolls on. This is only the beginning. This is just the beginning. You haven't seen anything yet, I promise you. Before we get into it, I want to remind you to smash the follow button on Rumble, smash the like button, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about the show. Get your merch. We have our brand new Wang Half shirt, Fuentes.store. Don't wear this in public if you're trying to infiltrate, because then they'll know. If you're working for Heritage Foundation, don't wear this shirt at the Christmas party or the Shabbat dinner, because then they'll know. Everybody else, wear the shit out of it, okay? Fuentes.store, that's what we are, dude. White-ass niggas go. Mark Levin does not stand a chance against even one Wang Half. That's who we are. That's our DNA. The hats are there as well. Like I said, Fuentes.store, same rule applies. Be careful where you wear it if you have political aspirations. AmericaFirst.plus to subscribe to be an America First Plus member. Get access to the archive of the show, $15 a month. Group chat with me, $100 a month. And I'm in there and I'm hanging out and you can talk to me and everything. That's AmericaFirst.plus. Okay, we're going to dive in. We're going to get into the show. Like I said, tonight we're going to continue our coverage of the fallout from the Tucker Carlson interview. We'll talk about that first, then we'll get to Zohran Mamdani because it's a good segue, I think, later. And so first, I want to talk a little bit about the news. What's actually new here? So, of course, yesterday we talked a little bit about this. We had the Tucker interview last Monday. Last Thursday, the president of the Heritage Foundation, Kevin Roberts, defended Tucker. Big mistake. Because the rules still apply. It is still a total blanket ban on criticism of Israel. And my appearance on Tucker, I think, made some of the negligence of the Israel lobby. I think it made them
pawns are ugly
shut
right
again,
now.
and all the rules came crashing back down on Kevin Roberts.
Man, the upper 200 is getting harder.
Head. And so we covered this a little bit last night. The Israel lobby is absolutely furious because the Heritage Foundation is maybe the most important conservative think tank in America. It is like the flagship, the standard bearer of Reagan conservatism. Heritage Foundation is synonymous with movement conservatism. Cannot be overstated how important this think tank is. And just so you guys understand, because I assume you know, but maybe you don't. What is a think tank? Maybe it's obvious. Maybe you're embarrassed to ask. These think tanks, these nonprofits, this is actually a major seat of the power in politics, because it is these nonprofits that raise their money from billionaires and from mailing lists that go back 40 years from conservative voters. It is these think tanks which have a lot of money, They have this quasi-accreditation ability. It is these think tanks which are actually creating the intellectual backbone and the policy for the Republican Party. Where do the Republicans get their ideas? Where do they get their talking points? The congressmen, the senators, where do they get the laws? When Fox News or some other conservative media organ, when they get their studies,
really so
where do
dumb.
they get them?
The experts,
the expert testimony, the technocrats,
Fuck.
the experts that run our society, where do they come from? They come from the think tanks. So the think tanks, which are all headquartered in D.C. or thereabouts.
Right back, baby.
This is a major part of what you would call movement conservatism and the Republican Party. What Curtis Yarvin would call the cathedral. These are the priests of the Republican cathedral, which are defining the dogma and the doctrine of what it is to be a Republican. And the think tanks are captured by the billionaires, because the think tanks are funded and paid for by the large contributions of the donor class, the special interests. They pour all this money in, and the think tanks then churn out the ideas, the policies, the research, expert testimony, and that goes in the congressional hearings, and it goes into the legislative directors in Congress, and it goes into the White House, the bureaucracy. Very important part of politics. It is also a facility which is supposed to churn out dutiful apparatchiks, party men for the GOP. People come into the think tanks as college Republicans, maybe they're teenagers, 20-somethings, college-aged. They're young, they're looking for employment. They get a little stipend, they get a little salary, they get a fellowship, they get a grant, something like that. That's how they get their start. And so something like Heritage is churning out Brylan Hollyhans, basically. That's what it is. It's a mill for Brylan Hollyhans and Charlie Kirks, these types of people. And they go out and they are the evangelists of the conservative doctrine. It's the brain of the conservative movement. I'm telling you this so you understand the significance. The president of Heritage has all this credibility, all this legitimacy. It has a lot of intellectual heft and weight in the conservative movement. What they say is sort of like gospel for the Republican conference in the U.S. Congress. It's a big deal. The president of Heritage Foundation, Kevin Roberts, came out last week confidently, you could almost say defiantly, defiant against the Israel lobby berserkers. He came out and said, Tucker is my friend. He is inside the big tent. We're not disavowing him. He said, and by the way, we're allowed to criticize Israel. We don't have to support them. We're America first. We're Christ first. We support free speech, and we should debate Nick Fuentes' ideas. Maybe now you're starting to understand what a big deal that is. Because like I said, if that guy is saying that, if the head honcho at Heritage is saying this, what this signifies is that Heritage, the accreditation institution, the brain, the priestly class that promulgates the Republican dogma, if that institution says that Groyperism is up for debate, it's on the table, it's not canceled, we should talk about the ideas, and we should defend the people that defend the Groypers or talk to the Groypers. It signifies that, one, that place is a safe harbor, as I said before. So a Groyper could go to work at Heritage and maybe feel welcome and comfortable, and he won't be fired. And you might have a Groyper at Heritage who is going to be writing a policy paper about, who knows, foreign policy, education, immigration. They might be considered like an expert, and maybe they'll go on to be a legislative director for a senator, and they might be writing laws for the U.S. government. It's conceivable. If the president of Heritage says Tucker is in the big tent, then that means that Tucker and Nick Fuentes sympathizers are allowed to be employed at Heritage. And thus, they might be in the position to determine the dogma. They can write the doctrine. Big problem. But more than that, it signifies across the board that this is now inside the institutions. The Israel lobby can no longer pretend that this is an internet show, that this is happening outside of the Capitol. This is happening in the hinterlands. This is happening in the hills. And maybe the cranks and the lunatics and the crazy mobs of peasants, maybe they like Tucker's show. Who cares? Because inside the walls, inside the ivory tower, inside the gated community, the cathedral, we're still safe inside. We still know that Tucker is anti-Semitic. We still know that Nick Fuentes is evil. If somebody inside the city walls says, we're sympathetic to Tucker, then it signals that you've got an institutional impact. That maybe Tucker and my ideas might be inside the think tanks, might be inside Congress, might be inside Washington, D.C. It's in the government. It's in the middle of the political system. That's what they can't allow. This is why this is such a big deal for them. And that's why the hammer came down so swiftly on Heritage Foundation. And so Thursday, the guy comes out proudly and says, we're never going to back down and we will never disavow Tucker. By Friday morning, the following day, he issues this long statement condemning me and calling me a rapist and an anti-Semite and a Hitler worshiper and a Stalin apologist, whatever the fuck that even means, and all the rest of it. And it gets better. Yesterday, he goes to Hillsdale and gives a speech. And he says, our biggest mission is fighting anti-Semitism. And I made a big mistake because I forgot to tell everybody that. Today, this is our news for the night. Get a load of this. The National Coalition for Combating Anti-Semitism, which is a partner with the Heritage Foundation, releases a list of demands. And they say that if the Heritage Foundation does not comply with their list of demands, they will be forced to revoke their partnership. And that might spell the end of the Heritage Foundation. I'll read you their letter. This is what they say. So this is a tweet from Audrey Fahlberg. She writes, here is an email that the co-chairs of the Heritage Foundation's Task Force to Combat Anti-Semitism sent to their members on their new demands for Kevin Roberts in the wake of Heritage, Tucker Carlson, Nick Fuentes fallout. This comes as task force members continue to resign in protest of their alliance with Tucker Carlson. The letter says, if we are not able to come to an agreement soon, the relationship between Heritage Foundation and the task force will be irrevocably harmed, says the letter according to National Review Online. National Review published the letter. There they are again. I'll read to you. This is what the letter says. Get a look. So this is the National Task Force to Combat Anti-Semitism. This is what they write to Heritage, specifically to its president, Kevin Roberts. These are their demands. They write, NTFCA members, thank you to your patience with us as we seek to find a path forward together with the Heritage Foundation. The following is an email based on your contributions and feedback. We appreciate all of you for your steadfast contribution to ensuring the conservative movement remains a home for all those who stand against anti-Semitism. Dear Kevin, we appreciate that you took the time to speak with us. Our communication with NTFCA members was to get more time to come to some agreement on how we can move forward together. In that spirit, we offer the following recommendations. Buckle up. These are their demands. Number one, removing the video that created the firestorm. There are 100 million Christians in the United States that found Tucker's comments deeply offensive when he called Christian Zionism a heresy and a mind virus. Many of us on the task force are among those who believed you called us part of a venomous coalition and questioned our loyalty to the United States. It makes collaboration with Heritage difficult for our members. So 1, delete the video. 2, an apology to those Christians and Jews who are steadfast members of the conservative movement and believe that Israel has a special role to play biblically and politically. Based on years of working relationships, we know that many of your top foreign policy staff at Heritage share this view and could help you craft such a statement. The foreign policy team at Heritage will help you write it. Why? Because the people drafting the foreign policy for Heritage Foundation are all pro-Israel Jews. Isn't that a conflict of interest? That Heritage Foundation, a wide-ranging think tank, its foreign policy division is apparently controlled by pro-Israel loyalists? So when the conservative think tank writes its foreign policy for the United States, the global empire, it's controlled by pro-Israel people. They're going to help craft the apology to Jews and Christians.
Thank you.
That's number 2. So 1, delete your video. 2, apologize. 3, condemnation of any content that Tucker Carlson has ever hosted or statements he has made without calling for his cancellation, but an acknowledgement that you and Tucker have disagreements and you disagree with and condemn his anti-Semitic content, then we will consider the matter closed. So we don't want you to cancel him. We just want you to condemn him and all of his anti-Semitic content and all the things you disagree with him on. Delete your video, apologize, condemn your friend. Number 4, it is clear there is an internal battle within the conservative movement over who is to be included. The division between no enemies to our right versus a moral conservatism demands our attention. This is the new dialectic they're creating. A conference that provides some guidance to the movement on how best to keep unity without needing to include the worst among us. So 4, they want to put on a workshop of who's a Jew-hating anti-Semite and who's a moral conservative. They want Heritage to put on a conference to tell everybody, how do you know you're dealing with a groyper that must be banished forever? And how do you sniff out groypers? They're like the Gestapo. They want a conference instructing conservatives, this is how you can tell you're dealing with a groyper. How to keep unity without including the worst among us. Number 5, you pointed out repeatedly that we face a challenge in reaching disenfranchised young men caught in the spell of Nick Fuentes and others.
I'm gonna go here though.
It's a spell. Everyone really desperately wants a war with Iran. I just cast a spell on you to convince you everybody loves genocide, killing children, war in the Middle East. We love being humiliated ritualistically. We love our politicians kissing the wall. It's just
this
that
guy's fucking
I'm
gay.
cynically manipulating you. Look, a down on his luck young white man. He's mad because he doesn't have a job. I'm going to convince him that war with Iran is a bad idea. If he had a job, he would never agree with this. So number 5, he says, I'll continue. You pointed out repeatedly, we face a challenge in reaching disenfranchised young men caught in the spell of Nick Fuentes. To address this issue specifically, we recommend hiring a visiting fellow, one who shares mainstream views on Israel, Jews, and Christian Zionism, who could identify strategies and tools to win Gen Z and beyond. So demand number 5, they want to hire a Generation Z whisperer. How do we get Generation Z to fall in love with Israel again? Let's get Brylan Hollyhand. Number 6, and this is the best one. The task force members would like to host Shabbat dinners with the interns and junior staff of Heritage in partnership with Heritage to host conversations on Judaism and the Judeo-Christian tradition. They want to... So their sixth and final demand, they want to host for those that don't know, Shabbat, that's a Sabbath. That's the Jewish Sabbath where they meet for dinner on Saturday night. All the Jews meet for dinner on Saturday night to observe the Sabbath. So they're saying the National Task Force to Combat Anti-Semitism will host a Shabbat dinner, and they're inviting all of the young staff members at Heritage to attend to lecture them about Judaism and Judeo-Christianity. Welcome to Shabbat. We'd like to talk to you about Judaism. We'd like to talk to you about Israel. So they can literally sniff out groypers. That's the point of it. They're bringing all the junior staff members there simultaneously to indoctrinate them, but also to vet them. Literally, we want to create a Jewish Sanhedrin and invite all the staff members there just to check them out. And that's their final demand. The letter closes. It says, "We appreciate your attention to this matter. If we are not able to come to an agreement
This is
soon,
free right here
the
for him. That's
relationship
crazy.
between Heritage and the task force will be irrevocably harmed." So in other words, if you don't agree to all these things, we're cutting you out and then you're done. Heritage will lose all its donors. Its board members will resign. There will be a mutiny. Kevin Roberts will be fired. And
He's
someone
retarded.
else will replace him, and they will agree
your
to all
queen.
these demands.
Put your
Delete
queen.
the video, apologize,
There you
condemn
go.
Tucker, host a conference on why groypers suck, hire a Generation Z ambassador to identify strategies to make Zoomers love Israel, and then they want to
fuck.
host a Shabbat dinner
Damn.
to vet all the young staff members and make sure they love Jews in Israel. Those are their demands. Now, understand the broader context here. What else is going on? Class, what else has been going on in the past couple of months? Gavin Wax, Jewish Zionist from the Zionist Organization of America, was working at the State Department. He still is. He sent those screenshots from a group chat to Politico of a dozen young Republicans making Jewish jokes, Holocaust jokes, racist jokes. He got them all fired. He got them all doxxed, canceled. They all lost their jobs. They're all unemployable. And what was the idea behind that? One, it raised the red flag, and it said, we got a problem. All of the young Republicans, college Republicans, all the interns and staff members are all groypers. They make groyper jokes. They have groyper opinions. They're very edgy. They're very far right. We've got a problem. We need to reinforce cancel culture. What happened a week later? Paul Ingrassia. Paul Ingrassia is friends with Andrew Tate. He defended me in the past. He was nominated to be in the office of the Inspector General, a very important watchdog position in the Trump government. Right before his confirmation hearing, his group chat was leaked too. They made up some fake sex scandal about him. It's not even a sex scandal. It's just like they said he slept in the same room as a woman. Is it a crime to be straight in the GOP? I guess it is. And then they leaked his group chat where he made some racist jokes. And they canceled his confirmation hearing. He went back to his previous position. It's the same story. Then after the Tucker interview breaks, you've got a friend of J.D. Vance telling the New York Times that 30 to 40%
I think this
of
is
White
a
House
win.
personnel
I don't know
and
if he's going to see
congressional
this.
staff are groypers. Now this.
Not sure if he's going to see this. Oh,
So
he might have
very
saw it 'cause
clearly,
he just
they
did
are
that.
concerned. When they see my show, they're not terribly alarmed by the show by itself. I've been doing the show for 10 years, and they tried to cancel the show, censor the show, ban the show, and when the show was small, wasn't a big problem. Now the show is very big. And now I'm like a celebrity. And I don't say that for my own aggrandizement.
Nigga.
That's just a discussion.
Nigga.
I go outside and
Sorry,
I get
dog.
recognized everywhere I go, and it's all young guys. All the young guys.
We can review this one.
Me, keep talking about the Jews. I hear that all the time from like normal people. High fives. Can I get a picture? Kids in like middle school.
These
kids
bitch
in
ass
middle
niggas
school,
on my
kids in
face.
high school, kids in college. They're with me. They believe it. And if they believe it in the streets
because
here,
this almost went left.
and in the
I ain't gonna lie.
streets of DC, and they believe it at Harvard.
Yeah, that was retarded for him. But I feel like he was. I feel like he wanted me to do that.
There are Groypers at UCLA. There are Groypers at Princeton, Georgetown, George Mason, George Washington University, UVA. They're everywhere. We're doing it. Infiltration. It's not a pipe dream. It's not talk. It's happening. We did it. We're doing it. It's happening right now. They're becoming aware of this. And this is what they're afraid of. Some guy talking and bitching and yelling about your political opinions, who cares? Some guy talking and bitching to an audience of boomers, who cares? An audience of freaks, who cares? But a guy with a supermassive audience that is reaching young men, young, intelligent men from normal backgrounds in college and in politics, that's a problem for them. Now they're worried. They don't want people to have ideas, but they especially don't want the young men to have ideas. Because the young, precocious men, these are the ones that are going to be getting into the highly selective schools. They're the ones that are going to go to work in the think tanks, the internships, the admin. And then those people are just going to keep climbing up the ladder, one rung at a time. And one day, they're going to be the legislative director. They're going to be the comms director. They're going to be the undersecretary, the chief of staff. And they're going to be carrying with them all these ideas, all the politics, and you're not going to necessarily know who they are. It's going to be hard to tell, and maybe they'll conceal it. They're not going to be able to know, and that's what they don't want.
Lost material. How is he up so much and I still end up winning, bro?
It's not just about the raw numbers. It's about
shit, I'm listening to fucking Nick Fuentes. He's talking about fucking there's been a lot of shit going on politically. I don't know if you follow politics in America, but like there's a lot of shit going on. They just what's the name? Mayor fucking in New York City, Zoran Mamdani. He just won, and you know, that's obviously a big deal. He's a Muslim socialist. You know what I'm saying? They're not fucking with that.
Demographic. It's not about can we get 51% of the general public to vote in an election.
You gotta know ball, bro. You gotta know ball.
Can we get
maybe I have a match. Maybe I can teach you a thing or two.
Very elite human capital.
If you add me, I'll play.
In a city where all the decisions are made. And can they schmooze?
My name right down here, 00 Foolington.
And a handful of institutions.
Well, 00
Foolington. That will have disproportionate impact on policy. That's the alarm.
Damn, nigga took my rook. I didn't even see that coming, which is crazy.
Even 6 years ago during the original Groyper War. And I
could have went one more up. Literally.
My feud with Charlie Kirk started with Turning Point USA. Turning Point USA was firing anybody that liked my show in 2019. 6 years ago. I never had a problem with Charlie Kirk until all of a sudden he started firing anybody that liked my show for the same reason. This is the same battle. Because back then they identified the same problem. They said,
is she fried? Are y'all reading this over here? What you mean I had a way to win a bishop here?
Then we're going to have
literally checkmate
and if we have
or check.
In Congress, we have a problem.
Like what? So this guy just retarded. He just wasn't good.
That's when we went to the Q&A events and we started pushing Charlie. You're not Christian enough. You're not conservative enough. You're not America first enough. And Charlie had to change his positions because he was losing the young male demographic. And then shortly after that, I got banned on YouTube. Because they realized what was happening.
They left the bishop for capture. Bro, this bitch right here doesn't even know ball, bro.
Censored anymore.
She literally doesn't even know ball, bro.
I'm no longer canceled. And the Groypers have broken through the walls. And that's why now the National Coalition or the National Task Force
This
on
move will
fighting
cost you upon you missed
anti-Semitism, their
opportunity for
demands
vulnerable, bro.
are about
Retarded.
filtering Groypers. Identify Groypers, fire Groypers. Bring the staff members to Shabbat so they could be vetted by the Jews. Indoctrinate them. Find strategies to combat and win the battle in the hearts and minds
Cost
of the
me a
youth.
queen, bro.
'Cause
They're
they don't want
literally
them at Heritage.
retarded.
Now, this was their list of demands for Heritage Foundation, but I also want to read to you an article in the New York Times today, echoing this by Ross Douthat, I still don't know how to pronounce his name. He said the same thing. So this is an article from the New York Times published this evening. It says, what conservatives should do about Nick Fuentes. Very on the nose, very explicit. What conservatives should do about Nick Fuentes. He writes, it's been about 7 months since I last wrote about how debates over Israel and anti-Semitism are dividing the American right.
Easy
Once again, we are
checkmate.
debating
That
the
was a great
programming
game.
choices of
I was about to
prominent
lose that.
podcasters. He said, how do you gatekeep
Let's see, did the nigga add me or no?
anti-Israel
Or no?
sentiment sliding down the slippery slope to Fuentes' attacks on world Jewry that's clearly gaining prominence within the populist ecosystem? Are the choices of prominent figures central to the drama? Is the right looking for a new William F. Buckley Jr., who once policed the paranoid and anti-Semitic boundaries of the conservative movement? Is it already too late to prevent a Groyper future? This is the important part. I think it's clearly too late to have a future where figures like Fuentes are banished or marginalized. You lost. You tried it. And you lost. You tried to banish me. You tried to marginalize me. You tried to gaslight me. And you lost. I'm too good. I'm too resilient. I'm too strong. Too stubborn. Too mentally tough. I defeated you. We broke the first wall. So he's conceding on that. He says it's too late. We lost. He's not marginalized. He's too popular. The masses love him. He's the people's champion. He says the digital transformation of politics, the breakdown of the Cold War, the post-Cold War consensus, the politics of youthful alienation are all much more powerful than gatekeeping. You're wrong. I'm more powerful than gatekeeping. He says any statement of conservative principles, any attempt to read a set of personalities or ideas out of the debate, that doesn't mean the choices of prominent people cease to matter, but they are just individual moves in an open-end chess game where the goal is to persistently outmaneuver the internal enemy, not to find the one perfect move that checkmates them forever. He says the goal is to persistently outmaneuver the internal enemy. Internal to what? Politics. He says, so let's consider what successful anti-Semitic maneuvers might look like. First, while the right's elites and would-be leaders can't control the information ecosystem, they can exert real control over the institutions. Who gets hired and who gets fired? Who gets promoted and who gets sidelined? More generally, what kind of culture obtains inside think tanks and congressional offices and political campaigns? They're giving the game away. I told you so. He said, look, we lost the information battle. We can't ban him on Instagram. His clips are everywhere. We can't ban him on Rumble and Twitter. We are being hanged by our own standard of free speech. We fought for free speech. Now we got it. Now Nick Fuentes' ideas have triumphed in the information space. He said, we can't control that. It's too big. It's too broad. So we're going to retreat to the next layer. He said, we can control the institutions, hiring and firing, sidelining and promoting. Where? Think tanks, congressional offices, political campaigns. He says, in the late 2010s, I watched generational conflict play out in disastrous ways in liberal and left-leaning institutions where the younger guard was increasingly radicalized and the older guard moved rapidly from patronizing encouragement to besieged submission, from welcoming radical tendencies to being paralyzed by fear of junior employees whom they themselves had elevated and in theory could still discipline or fire. The radical left took over the Democrat Party. Nancy Pelosi has to bend the knee to AOC in certain instances. Zohran Mamdani defeats Andrew Cuomo. He said, in the left, the radical, bombastic, enthusiastic young people captured the institutions. Because initially, the establishment on the left was, let's say, they were caught with their pants down. They didn't know that they had let the fox in the henhouse. They let in a dragon. He said he witnessed that happen on the left. He writes, whatever share of Capitol Hill interns or think tank employees are actually Fuentes sympathizers, this is the scenario the institutional right needs to avoid right now, preventing radicalized junior staffers from steamrolling or puppeteering nominal superiors, in-name-only superiors. Music to my ears. Delicious. I'll have another course, please. Another one of these, another round. I love it. Succulent, scrumptious, delicious. And it's delicious because it's already happening. It's already happening. Past tense, it happened. Steamrolling nominal superiors, puppeteering nominal superiors. We're everywhere. He says, it's too late to control information.
I accepted your friend request, homie.
You've only caught on far too late. Look at what happened the other week. Gavin Wags blew up a group chat. You throw a rock, you're going to hit 30 groypers in Washington, D.C. You throw a rock in Washington, D.C., it's going to bounce off the heads of 30 groypers. What are you talking about? It's not too late for the institutions. Oh, if only you knew. He writes, but this isn't just a matter of imposing discipline. The older generation has to understand where the radical ideas are coming from. You aren't going to out-debate Fuentes himself. That's not
let
the
me
business
butt fuck
he's
this
in, but
dude
you still
first.
want to understand the
Let me
chain of
continue to
ideas
butt
that
fuck
draws
this
young
guy here.
right-wingers toward anti-Semitism and
fucking good
offer
or
adult
something.
wisdom that's responsive to its pull. He says you need a different set of arguments to interrupt the regress, and arguments need to be tailored to actual events and general theories. He says conservatives who want to stop the slide to anti-Semitism need to create a zone where normal criticism of Israeli strategy is possible, and then distinguish it from normal debates from paranoid and anti-Semitic criticism.
Let me finish butt fucking this guy here.
You don't
Let me
want to tell
finish,
young
dog.
right-wingers that having doubts about the Israel-Hamas war
Let me finish
is all
putting
or
it in
nothing,
this, you know what I'm saying?
and
Watch
there's no
me.
room
Watch
for
me put my thumb in it,
anti-Semitism
dog. Watch.
in the
Just
conservative
watch.
movement, and no room for
My
criticism
fucking
of
thumb
U.S.
in it.
support of whatever Israel is doing. Now, this is the next part. He's saying we need to give some slack. We need to let conservatives on a longer leash. We need to distinguish between criticism of Israeli policy and the slippery slope towards real anti-Semitism. He said we can tolerate criticism of Israeli policy. We can't tolerate the latter. I've been trying to tell you this forever, and people told me it was convoluted. People said, why would you criticize Tucker when he's 100% on our side? And I would tell people, he doesn't agree with us 100%. Why?
Let me finish.
Because, and listen, I like Tucker. I do consider Tucker a fellow traveler, but there are disagreements here. And the disagreement that me and Tucker discussed on his show is this.
We'll play a real game, homie. Watch.
Policy.
I'm about to put my thumb in this joint. Watch.
It's about Netanyahu and the neocons. It's not about Jews, Judaism, organized Jewry. It's not about that.
I'm about to put my thumb in this joint. You heard me?
And it's obvious why. And let me just be very clear about this first. Then I'll elaborate on the distinction. What's my real position?
Put my thumb in this joint. You heard?
Completely defensible position. Netanyahu and Israel
Let me finish
have no
putting my thumb up
over
in
the
this
United
joint.
States that is not given to them by
Finish
American
that first.
Jewish oligarchs. Let me say that again. Netanyahu and his Likud party and the far right in Israel and the secular government of
There
Israel,
he
they would
takes.
have no power
I
over
take.
the United States if it were not for their American Jewish sympathizers in our oligarchy. What do I mean by that? You had pro-Palestine
Why she want
hashtags
my
go
queen
viral
so
on
bad, bro?
TikTok.
Chill.
TikTok was headquartered in China. Nothing they could do about that. What could Israel do about that? TikTok, a company headquartered in Beijing, had pro-Palestine hashtags go viral, and Israel is being criticized too much. What could Israel do about that?
She want my queen
Nothing.
for it, nigga. I'm trying to put my thumb
But
in your joint.
America could do a lot about that. Why? Because America used its leverage in Chinese trade negotiations as China's largest trading partner to make TikTok part of a broader bilateral deal. In other words, the United
Put
States
my
as
thumb
an
in your
empire
joint. Put my
used
thumb
its
in your
vast
joint.
markets
Put my
and
thumb
its
in your joint,
all-important
nigga.
trade relationship with
Nigga.
China to put TikTok on the table of a
Fuck is
huge
he
deal
talking about,
concerning
man?
everything, rare
Fuck is he
earths
talking about?
and chips and aluminum and steel and soybeans and all those
Put my
things. TikTok
thumb in
was a
his
part of
joint,
that deal.
nigga. He thought this shit was
And
sweet,
the
nigga.
White House knew that
I know he
TikTok
thought
as
this
a
shit was
business
sweet. I
could
could
not
just
afford
smell
to
it, bro.
lose its U.S. market because the U.S. market is big. The Israeli market, not so much. Israel doesn't have leverage like that with China. The
I
United
think
States
I go
does. Israel doesn't have
C4 with
leverage
the
like
knight,
that with
right?
TikTok. The
C4.
United States does. So an American regime
C4.
clawed TikTok under American control using the weight of the United States at the behest of who? Well, who passed the law banning TikTok? The U.S. Congress did last year, and they did it at the behest of the Republican Jewish Coalition, the North American Jewish Federation. Those are the groups that lobbied for it, that welcomed it, that took credit for it, and celebrated it. And it was in the aftermath of October 7th that the law was passed. And then the Trump administration,
What I do here? I only got 3 minutes, so I
swept
gotta
into
hurry up.
office by Jewish billionaires like Jeffrey Yost, who's a
think I'm gonna
single-issue
go.
voter on this issue,
I think I'm gonna just go here.
and Bill Ackman and Jacob Hellberg and others, they wanted it too. So American Jews used their citizenship, which allowed them to contribute money to super PACs and campaigns to increase their leverage over the U.S. government, to use America's leverage over China to get TikTok to benefit Israel. And in the end, which is the American company that is actually going to run TikTok? Oracle, owned by Larry Ellison, a secular Jew, not even a neocon, but the number one private beneficiary or benefactor
Sacrifice
of the
tonight.
Israeli Defense Forces.
Hold up.
Larry Ellison's a friend of Netanyahu, an ally of Israel, a benefactor of the IDF. He runs TikTok now.
Which one do I
And
want?
he's
I
now
want
going to
to
work for Netanyahu. It's part of his push.
Guess I'll go this
Same
way.
way that his son,
Fuck it. Damn.
David Ellison, bought CBS and
I
made
swear.
Barry Weiss its president.
I had a fucking
And
checkmate.
Netanyahu came to the United States, came to New
He's
York.
just guessing
and
right
said,
now.
"This is
Only got
part of
3
their
minutes though.
strategy
I
to
gotta
fight
move
Iran."
fast. I gotta think now.
And that is to win back the hearts and minds of the American public to support Israel's war.
Like and subscribe, niggas.
Now, you've heard all this before. You've heard me explain
My
that.
niggas.
Why do I relitigate it here? To demonstrate that it ain't just about Israel. It's not about
Ah,
Netanyahu.
bitch.
For those
Gonna
that
abandon.
say this is about the
I want to
secular
get that
government of
checkmate.
Israel,
I want to
it's about
finish putting
Netanyahu,
my.
It's all about him.
I wanted to.
He has no power. American
I
Jewish
just want to put my
billionaires
thumb
have
in your
power.
joint.
Why?
You know what I'm
'Cause
saying?
this
I
is
just
the
wanted
biggest,
to.
richest
I just
country.
wanted to.
If you're at the top of this country, you're at the top
Nigga.
of the world.
All right, what's up, homie? Let's
And
get
our
this game.
open, tolerant system is penetrated by foreign operatives. Our universities, which are the best in the world, our market, which is the richest and biggest in the world, our companies, our capital markets, which are the biggest and richest in the world,
Put my thumb in your joint,
they're
nigga.
wide open
He gonna
for
abandon the
allies
game.
of Israel
You better
to
have to go.
ascend.
It
An
had to go
ally
or
of
something.
Israel with American citizenship, born in America, but with affinity for Israel by virtue of them
waiting
being
for my
Jewish,
opponent.
they could
This
go
nigga
to
ain't
Harvard,
answering, gang.
go to law school, start a big company,
I'm
get
waiting for
rich,
my opponent. Let's get it.
amass
They're gonna
a
give him
$300
white. That's
billion
crazy.
fortune, influence the U.S.
That's
government
nutty,
to get
bro.
TikTok,
How they gonna give him white?
and
That's
run it on
wild.
behalf of Israel. It unlocks unlimited power. That's the issue. The issue is the dual loyalty. And Israel is a part of it, but it's not the whole thing. The whole thing is called Jewry.
Little
It's the
nigga,
Jews
is
in
that?
America and the Jews in Israel. That's
You
where all
must
the
think
Jews
shit
live.
sweet, little nigga.
The vast
This
majority
must
of the
be your
Jews
first
in
time
the
here,
world
little
live in the
nigga.
United States and Israel.
It ain't sweet. I see
And
what
there
you
are
doing.
still some in Europe, and there's still some elsewhere.
Oh shit,
But the
hold up.
vast majority of Jews live in America and Israel.
Alright, have to make sure.
More Jews live in New York than in any other city.
Nigga.
I believe more Jews live in America than live in Israel. Okay? So when people say Israel, Israel, no. It is about the global Jewish community that is mostly headquartered in the United States, specifically LA, South Florida, and New York, and their allies in Israel.
Pin that nigga.
That's
Fuck
the
it.
power matrix.
Pin that
and
nigga.
There's some key alliances in Europe.
Puss.
There's some key
I knew he was
allies
gonna
in
do that.
London and Paris and Rome, and there's some key allies elsewhere like Millet and the rest of it. But those are the two loci of power, of Jewish power. That's the reality. That's real. And what the New York Times is saying, and what Tucker says actually also, and others too, they say we have to distinguish between people that criticize Israeli policy and those that slide into anti-Semitism when they talk about world Jewry. Here's what he says. He says, conservatives who want to stop the slide to anti-Semitism must create a zone where normal criticism of Israeli strategy is possible. It's not about Israeli strategy. It's about American sovereignty. You think I really give a shit about Israel's strategy in a vacuum? I don't really.
It's all good, nigga.
Israel is
all
using
good,
evil tactics. It's wicked. It's immoral. I condemn it. But the problem is not that in itself. The problem is that we are enabling it, we're paying for it, and we're doing that because our government is captured. And our government is captured by the money power. And the Jews have access to the money power because they have citizenship here, which allows them to take advantage of our system, even though they're loyal to a foreign country. This is a special arrangement, and this arrangement is upheld by the constellation of Jewish organizations which protect
He fucked
us.
my play up all the way. That's crazy.
If a Chinese person became a $300 billion tech mogul and he was giving money to the People's Liberation
all
Army,
good, nigga.
or whatever it is in China, do you think that would stand?
I got endless plays.
Larry Ellison is worth $300 billion. He gives millions of dollars to the IDF. He's Jewish. Israel's the Jewish state. He runs Oracle, which is critical to U.S. national security. He now runs TikTok, which is media in the United States.
Puss.
Imagine if he were Chinese. Imagine if he were ethnically Chinese. He was giving money to the PLA. He was giving money to the People's Liberation Navy of the Chinese Communist Party, and he had those positions in America. Would anyone tolerate that? You would say this guy's a Chinese spy. This guy's a dual loyalist. He should be imprisoned. He should be deported. He should have his assets taken. But what's the difference? In America, you have the ADL. If somebody says Larry Ellison is a dual loyalist, in comes the ADL that says you're anti-Semitic and you're fired for thinking that. And you have the media, which will run cover. The media, which is run by whom? Anybody? Rupert Murdoch, friend of Netanyahu, like Larry Ellison. CNN, run by Zucker, Jewish. Jake Tapper, Wolf Blitzer. Hello. CBS, now run by Barry Weiss. Who's the watchdog that's going to call this out? You understand the game here? And so the ADL, the Jewish billionaires, Israel, this is what you would call organized Jewry. They are like a transnational game. They have organs performing different functions that create and protect the racket.
I can't fuck. Oof.
So he says this is about Israeli strategy. No, it's not about Israeli strategy. This got nothing to do with Israeli strategy. Miriam Adelson, taking advantage of Citizens United and contributing $100 million in every cycle, that's got nothing to do with Israeli strategy. She takes advantage of the system, which makes America,
I don't know what kind of nigga he is.
The moral hazard.
I wasn't sure. Like I kind of wanted to
that
go for the clean trade if he wanted to.
They write the check and we cash it because their guys, their billionaires here are bribing our politicians.
What favor you want me to
to
do, gangster?
The fortunes they've amassed with gambling, with pornography. OnlyFans supports Israel. Miri Matelson is a gambling mogul, a casino mogul.
Is bro going to disconnect?
They make
He's
money
kind
in
of
these
winning, but I feel like this is a
trades,
good game.
porn, gambling, speculative financial stuff. They use their fortunes in America to bribe the government to help them. He says, we have to create a zone where normal criticism of Israeli strategy is possible and distinguish it from paranoid, anti-Semitic criticism.
He's back. All right, come on.
You don't want to tell young right-wingers having doubts about Israel and Hamas that it's all or nothing, that there's no room for anti-Semitism and no room for criticizing U.S. support for whatever the Israeli government is doing. Think about all this equivocating. We're going to let you criticize U.S. support for anything the Israeli government is doing. And by the way, this is what many of these mainstream people are saying. And Marjorie Taylor Greene, I appreciated what she said about me. I'm open to a truce with her. I don't hate her. Honest to God, it's not personal for me. I appreciated what she said about me on The View. But here's some of my criticism. Marjorie Greene, whenever she tweets about Israel, she says, the secular government of Israel that has nothing to do with Jews. What are you talking about? That's not the issue at hand. And I get why she might need to hedge. I get why she might need to balance the rhetoric. But we, as the immovable standard of America first, I tell the truth. I don't play games. I don't set plays. I'm not a chess player. I'm not playing a rhetorical game. I'm not pulling my punches for tactics. I'm here to tell you the real truth. That's not true. So what's my point? I'm getting maybe a little bit off course here.
He's dicking my shit,
This is from the New York Times. This is from the National Task Force on Combating Anti-Semitism.
I'm going to take it like a man.
How do we stop the Groypers? Two things.
I'm going to take it like a man, but boy, does it hurt.
Not the conversation.
Boy, does it hurt.
Hire and fire. Promote and
not much I can do here.
Tanks, the congressional office of campaigns.
Boy, does it hurt.
Power. That's number one. Number two, they say we actually have to move the Overton window to the right. We have to allow some criticism of Israel.
Yeah. I'm not going to resign, homie. I wouldn't do that. I ain't that kind of nigga, man.
Full criticism. That's the definition of a limited hangout, by the way.
Damn.
We're going to let them criticize Israel's conduct in the war so that they don't follow it to its logical.
Yeah, I'm not gonna resign though. I mean, that's not me, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
To prosecute this war.
I ain't gonna lie. That ain't me, bro.
We're defending them. Why are we doing that? Because we're being bribed. Why are we doing that? Because Jewish American billionaires are loyal to Israel.
You're gonna show me a beautiful checkmate, nigga?
Part of an ethno-religion. They believe they're God's chosen.
Nigga.
They're congenitally.
Damn. Why you at the trade queen?
Another Holocaust, and they probably shouldn't have power over us. Don't follow it to its logical conclusion. Stop here and go no further. It's an ideological form of gatekeeping. This is their counterattack. Now, here's the last thing
Oh, no. He might show me a beautiful checkmate.
Now, what have I said about J.D. Vance?
Oh, no.
I said that our job is to squeeze J.D. Vance and whoever the Republican nominee will be. Our job in the 2028 election, in order to see all of this through.
Oh, man, now I'm just
blundering. We want to sit at the table. We want the next Republican government.
Now I'm just blundering, dude.
We want the next Republican government not to support Israel. But of course, there's going to be a lot of pressure.
Yeah, cook like this is not something that happens all the time.
The Jewish money is going to be flowing.
Like, goddamn.
Nielsen, Ackman, McGuire. All that money is going to be pouring in 2028 to make sure that every Republican candidate supports
Why can't I move up, yo? Fuck.
Because they know they have a problem here. And I said it's our job to meet them on the other side. You want to put the money out?
Oh.
You're going to try to bribe the politicians to support Israel? We'll pressure the politicians not to. How? We're going to show up to their events. We're going to make it a liability for them. We're going to make being pro-Israel very unpopular among the people. We're going to make it a political liability. You want the nomination?
I'm cooked, chat. That's crazy, bro.
We're going to make it very
How the
painful,
fuck did this
metaphorically for
game
you,
go like
politically.
this?
We're going to make it a political
Yo,
loser
what the
among
fuck?
young men. The young men they need to win
Dog,
to
this
support Israel.
hurts.
This is the playbook in 28. And I said about
Bro,
Vance, we're going to
what?
squeeze him. You're already seeing it.
Oh
He
my
went to
god,
Ole Miss
dude.
last week and did a college event.
I
And he
ain't
was
never
asked
had
by a
my
number
butt
of
played with
based
like this
Groyper
ever,
college
bro.
kids. Hey, are you owned by
This is
Israel? Are you owned by
crazy.
Peter Thiel? Do you support the endless wars? Do you support Palantir? And Vance
Damn.
was having to walk a very fine line. He can't throw Israel under the bus, but he also has to pander to this young
I can
crowd.
only move my
So he
king.
said,
That's
this president
crazy.
is not owned by Israel. He's not doing everything they say. And a lot of the Jews and the pro-Israel crowd said, what are you talking
I can
about?
only move
You
my
should
king.
condemn
That's
anti-Semitism,
crazy,
not
bro.
reassure them that Israel isn't secretly running the government. Why would you even legitimize that by answering it that way? This is the squeeze. To appeal to us, you're going to lose the Israel donors. To appeal to the
Crazy,
Israel donors, you're
man.
going to lose the popular support. I said, and we need to be there in 28 to make our voice heard and make sure that we are represented, that we have a seat at the table,
Wow.
that the nominee reflects our priorities. We got to be vocal,
Wow,
and loud,
gang,
and visible,
this
and
is
present.
nuts.
We have to show up. So Ben Shapiro
Yo.
did yet another show about me today. Bro
Yo,
has been
what do I
ignoring
even
me for
do,
10 years.
bro?
He's been running from a debate for me for 10 years. How much longer can little Ben run from a debate with me? He's been running for 10 years. He has been ignoring me, won't say my name for 10 years. 2 shows in a row, back to back this week. And today his show is all about this subject.
This is crazy.
And Mark Levin said the same thing yesterday. Said, we're going to be watching for 2028. Who associates with who condemns who. We're taking names and we'll make our decisions. And what Shapiro and Levin are saying is that the Jewish cabal is going to get together, and if Vance does not disavow the Groypers, they're going to anoint Marco Rubio. Because that's going to be the primary. It's going to be the Secretary of State and previous presidential hopeful Rubio against the heir apparent, the Vice President, J.D. Vance. And Levin and Shapiro and the rest are intimating that if Vance does not decisively come down on the side of the Israel lobby, they're going to make their decisions. They're going to take his name down. They're going to take note that he didn't condemn us, and they'll make their decisions. They'll go and anoint the other candidate. And to that, I say, let them try. Let them try. The candidate that's against Israel will have the popular support. The candidate that's pro-Israel will have the money support. And if the money candidate wins, they will lose the people in the general, and we're happy to let them lose. Happy to. You want Zohran Mamdani, you want Ilhan Omar to be president? That's how you get it. You drive the wedge on whether we're Israel first or America first. I'd love to see you try. I'd love to see the Israel lobby forfeit an election to a race communist. I'd love to see them eat that and explain that one to the American people. So this is our playbook. This is our playbook that's coming together here based on the reviews. I told you, I think last month, I said the name of the game is penetrate the institutions. Get in there. People say, how can I help? What can I do? If you're high school or college aged, get into your college Republicans and learn how to hide. Learn how to speak their language. Don't sound like a Groyper. Don't say based. Don't talk like Nick Fuentes. Talk about Cyrus the Great. You want to know how to conceal yourself? Watch Joe Lonsdale. Watch Joe Lonsdale. Watch Steve Saylor. Watch these assholes. Watch what they say. How do they talk? You know what Joe Lonsdale says? He says, the problem with the modern world is this moral relativism. We have to fight the bad guys, and the bad guys are these Marxist Islamists. It's these Marxists and Islamists. It's these Islamo-communists. It's the Zohran Mamdanis. It's the race communists. It's these Hamas supporters and BLM. The problem is the BLM Hamasification of our universities. There are bad guys and we need to fight them. And we, like that's the kind of language you need to speak to conceal yourself. Don't say the words world Jewry. Don't talk like this. Okay? Look at Chris Buskirk. Read Palladium. Read their we got to be the new Straussians. We're the new Straussians. Look at me. We're the Straussians now. We have a Groyper hermeneutic. You want to know how to play? Watch the enemy. Emulate the enemy. Put on your mask and conceal yourself. If you're high school or college aged, get into the college Republicans. Get into Turning Point USA. Try to become the president of those groups. Go to the conferences. Go to CPAC. Go to America Fest and network your ass off. If you're not in college, or if you are, volunteer for a campaign. Volunteer for a Republican campaign and network there. Make yourself useful. Read how to win friends and influence people. Be reliable, smile, listen, shake hands, make eye contact. Do all the things that a good courtier does. Charm them. Kill them with kindness. Endear yourself to them. Make yourself indispensable and always, always conceal what you're really about. And then get into the damn Capitol. Get into the communications team. Get into the legislative team. Get onto the Hill. Get into the administration. Get into the departments and agencies. If you don't know how to do anything, learn how to do media stuff. Build a resume doing social media marketing, video editing, graphics. That's in big demand right now. Get a poli-sci degree, whatever. Or go in the private sector, and you have to hide your power level a little bit less, but get in the private sector. Be a money person. We want to take over the institutions. And I said this a month ago, and people say,